evolution of sound.
What's up, ninjas? This is the complete guide to master Sylenth1. Today we're going to be talking about the filter. The filter is one of the more important things of sound design. However, I don't think it's that important because it's easy to grasp compared to the other stuff we're going to be learning in the next couple of videos. However, knowing how to use a filter is very, very, very important though, because if you don't know how to use a filter, then you're not going to learn how to shape sounds, how to get rid of certain frequencies in sounds, how to pretty much focus in on a frequency in a sound, and how to pretty much use a filter. Now, I've also been thinking about the advanced stuff that I want to teach you guys, and I'm thinking about doing another course for that. I'm still in the works with it, but I'm probably going to start that project today, and we'll see how I get it to you guys. But make sure that it's going to come, so be on the lookout for that, guys. But for now, let's get into the filters. The filters are, again, one of the most important parts. Pretty much, they're gonna be pretty much there to focus in on a frequency, and when you use them in correlation with an envelope, they're gonna help you shape the sound in a different way. Now, let's talk about the three types of filters we have in Sylenth1. We're gonna have the low pass, which I characterize as you putting your hand over your mouth as you're talking. Why? Well, this is why. Hi, my name is Sam World, and today I'm teaching you Sylenth1. I hope you understand what it is. So as I put my hand over my mouth, what happened? Pretty much what happened was that the high frequencies went down, the mid frequencies disappeared in my voice, and the last thing you would have heard is the low frequencies, right? That's exactly what a low pass does. Pretty much as you play a sound, let's turn off the EQ here. And from right to left, as you go with a low pass using the cutoff, you shape the sound. You pretty much focus in on the frequency. You can focus in on the low ends, on the mid, or everything out. Okay. Now the cutoff works this way, guys. The cutoff from right to left, pretty much the cutoff is going to decide the position of your filter. If it's a low pass filter, it's going to decide where it's at and how much of the highs you're cutting. And it's that simple. All the way to the left at 0 is pretty much low frequencies there. And all the way to the right, we're going to have the high frequencies. So pretty much think of this as sort of picking where your filter is going to be at in its little phase that we're going to talk about now. Now here we have a low pass filter. It's a very simple one. And why does it get rid of frequencies as we go from right to left? Well, the reason for that is that pretty much you're cutting the frequencies with the low pass. Think of it as if you're kind of using a blanket to cover them. And the more to the left you go with the low pass, the more you're covering them. And the only thing you're going to hear is the low frequencies until there is no more. That's the way it works, and that's pretty much the simplest way of explaining it, especially with the mouth analogy. All right, guys, now let's go back to Sylenth1. The next feature we have is the resonance. The resonance is going to work in correlation with the cutoff in the sense that the position you have your cutoff is going to affect where the resonance is going to occur. Now, the resonance is going to be pretty much the frequency before change occurs. What do I mean by change? Before something gets cut off, before you start decreasing it. If you notice the low pass, we have a straight line, and then it starts to kind of go down. It gets a slope. It gets change, right? It's safe to say that. When we're going straight, there is no change. But as you see this going down, then pretty much we see change happening. And this change is pretty much decreasing in volume, okay? As you guys can see, as we go down right here, you can see that it says -10, -11, -12. So the resonance is going to be that point where the change starts to happen. And when you increase the resonance, you're pretty much increasing that point, the volume of that point. So if we were to do it right now, here we have, let's say, a cutoff. Let's increase the resonance, and this is what happens. You can see that frequency right there before it starts going down. So pretty much here, the change happens, right? Right here is where it starts going down. Now look at it as it goes down. Look at where it's positioned. Look at it where it's positioned. It's right there in the point where change starts to happen. That's the resonance point, okay? So whenever you add the high resonance point, now let's get rid of this here. High resonance is going to help you make various different types of sounds, but one of the things that you should know is that you get this type of effect with it compared to no resonance at all. So resonance is good for making those Diablo type sounds, making kind of future bass and stuff, because it helps in getting that sound, that resonance type of sound where it's boosting in a single frequency. Now, the next thing is the drive. The drive is just boosting, anything that isn't covered by your filter. So in the case of the low pass, when we do pretty much a drive boost, pretty much what's happening is this. Literally, this is all that's happening, guys. Literally. So knowing that, we should pretty much see an increase in volume. As you guys saw. And this kind of adds a little bit of distortion, okay? And that's pretty much it. The last thing we need to talk about before we go into the other filters is the 12 dB and the 24 dB. Now, the 24 dB and 12 dB, all that has to do is with the slope of your line. Pretty much 24 dB is going to be a little bit more, taking away more. And then 12 dB is going to be less strict. If we were to compare these two, think 24 dB is like your mom when you were 10. And 12 dB is your mom when you're 24 and she doesn't give a fuck anymore. Okay, she's like more lenient. So she's like, okay, you can go out. So you're letting more frequencies out. But 24 dB is like, hell no, you ain't going out, boy. So pretty much it's this. 24 dB, picture this. And 12 dB, just picture this. That's all you need to know. That's not how exactly it's going to look in Sylenth1, by the way. But that's the best way to explain it. Just know that 24 dB covers more than 12 dB, okay? So if I were to show you, 12 dB lets more of the sound out. As you guys can see, 24 dB, strict, not strict, strict, not strict. And that's it, guys. Now, let's move on to the high pass. The high pass is exactly the same thing we discussed with the cutoff, resonance, and drive on the low pass, except it's just inversed. Pretty much what this means is that instead of the high pass getting rid of the highs first, it gets rid of the lows first. And the way that high pass works, guys, is from left to right, not right to left. From left to right, left, the sound is all going to be let out. And all the way on the right, it's going to be fully covered, okay? Now, what does the high pass look like? The high pass is going to look like this. The opposite of it. And as you see, from left to right, we're starting to cover the frequencies until the last frequency we hear is a high frequency, okay? As you guys can see there. Okay, pretty simple. The resonance works in the same way. It's that point where you start to get rid of a frequency here, the change, and the drive is exactly the same. Anything below this line, think of it that way, that hasn't been covered by this yet, hasn't been cut, gets boosted. That's it. Now, the bandpass we have to explain. The bandpass is my favorite filter because it focuses in on a frequency. I like to explain it as a low pass and a high pass combined. And pretty much the way it looks like, if I were to put it on this EQ for you, is exactly like this. Check it out. Boom. Let's go in. And here we have a bandpass. And pretty much as you move the cutoff from left to right, you're focusing in on a certain frequency. And pretty much that's it. Now the high pass does stay, like that, pretty much, as you guys see. Now, I like these because in correlation with distortion, the bandpass can do a lot of things. And those are things I will teach you guys in the advanced section of Sylenth1, where we kind of bring everything together that we learned and take it up a notch. Now, the bandpass, the way it works is 24 dB. Think of it, again, it's very strict. It's letting less out, so it's more kind of confined in the center, like more little. This bandpass is letting less frequencies out. And as you can see, the bandpass looks like a mountain. So think the frequency here at the very tip of the mountain, this frequency here going up and down, which is around 476, is the one that we're focusing in on. So if we were to play a sound, let's get rid of the bandpass here and just play it through the filter. And as we move from left to right, we're focusing in on other frequencies, so you guys can see. So remember how that sounded like. Now let's do it through Sylenth1. Exactly the same thing. So that's what the bandpass is. Now the bandpass resonance is a little bit tricky. Pretty much the difference is you're gonna, at the mountain, the tip of the mountain is where the boost is gonna occur. That tip, that frequency you're setting your eyes on, that's what's gonna get boosted. So think of it like this. We're gonna go to 8. And then we're pretty much gonna do this. This is what the resonance is gonna do. And pretty much the drive is gonna make it so that this is boosted up. And as you can see, as it gets boosted up, you're letting more of these frequencies out. So you're gonna get more sound out. Now 12 dB is gonna let more out, and I prefer to use 12 dB over 24 dB. as so. More sound out, increase the drive. You're gonna boost the sound, but at the same time you're letting more frequencies out. And if you want to increase the resonance, you're focusing in on that frequency at the tip of the mountain. And that is the bandpass for you guys. The last thing I need to talk about is the input select. Oscillator part A just means part A is getting routed into this filter. And part A and B means both part A and part B are getting routed into this filter. That's going to be it for the filter section, guys. If you guys liked this video, if you found it helpful, leave a like, leave a comment below on what you thought, and make sure to subscribe. As always, new videos coming out every day. If you guys haven't noticed, I've been uploading about 3 videos a day. That's crazy, right? Mainly, I want to give you guys the best I have to offer. You know, a lot of this knowledge has already been engraved in my head, so whenever I make videos, it's literally like I'm teaching stuff that I already know. The only stuff I make videos on is stuff that I can explain in a way that can make it easier for you to understand. That's why a lot of times when you guys ask for certain tutorials, certain requests, I'm kind of not doing most of them just because I'm not an expert in that field. Like today, for example, I was learning how to make a sound the whole morning. And literally, this is just to make one video that can amount to other videos with similar type of leads. But for me, it's learning it to the point where I can explain it. And that's when I make a video on it. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget advanced techniques. I'll have news for you on that soon. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care and have an awesome day, guys. Some X comp, some EQ, some reverb, maybe a bit of chorus, and a bit of drive. Not so much, but just a tiny bit for saturation. And pretty much that's how you create faded Kanye West, the bass line. Take care.